Good morning to all you crazy people. We were talking about best Father's Day gifts yesterday, and bourbon wasn't on the list for the article that we had, and I think we should have burned that early. That makes no sense. Craft beer was on the list. Tickets to a sports game. That makes sense. Josh Raggio texted me this morning, and he said, let's see, if you mention us, let's see, we've got a big announcement. Raggio Mercantile Shop is now carrying Blue Delta jeans, and you can visit the store in Raymond to get custom fitted. Raggio Mercantile Shop in Raymond is now carrying Blue Delta jeans, and you can visit Raggio Mercantile Shop in Raymond to get custom fitted for Blue Delta jeans. Raggio Mercantile Shop in Raymond. Good morning. Welcome in. Out of Bounds, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. You guys are pretty active on the Ag Up Equipment John Deere tractor text line, 601-885-3776. Get Off My Balls says Tennessee's going 10-2 in 2024. And let's see, Bama, Mississippi State, Florida, Kentucky at home for Tennessee. At Vanderbilt, at Arkansas, at Georgia, at Oklahoma. No, 10-2's off the table. But I guess maybe if the Stars line, I don't know who your non-conference is, but if the Stars line up, then maybe 9-3 for the Tennessee Vols. We are asking the question, who pulled the, you can run it either way. Who pulled the better schedule or the tougher schedule between Mississippi State and Ole Miss? MSU did not pull Bama, LSU, or Auburn. However, they did pull Georgia, A&M. How would you rank their toughest opponent? Let's just go top three toughest opponents at Mississippi State and Ole Miss schedule. So we know Georgia's number one on both. All right, so who would be number two on Mississippi State's?
Maybe Texas. If Texas is competitive this year, I mean, either Texas or I don't see Tennessee being
I
at
go
the same
Tennessee.
level. Really? I'm not sure if they're going to be at the same level as they were last year.
No, they may not be, but I just think under Heupel, he's a better head coach than Sarkisian, and they're trending the right way. There's not really a whisker's worth of difference in their recruiting. I don't know. Texas maybe 5 or 6. Tennessee maybe 11 or 12. So I think I go because Florida just hasn't. Florida and A&M. I mean, Ole Miss has been better than Florida and A&M the last decade, so I couldn't go Florida and A&M. Do I go Georgia, Tennessee? And if I take the last 10 years, Ole Miss? We'll see what Texas does this year. Ole Miss, you go Georgia, LSU. Yikes. Georgia, LSU, and either MSU or who?
Maybe Florida?
I guess so, although
because Florida's away. That's probably, I mean, if you look at your SEC away teams, you've got Arkansas, Florida, LSU, South Carolina. You put LSU at number 2. I'd probably say in Gainesville might be a harder game than home against Mississippi State, but you never know. Because it's first year Zach Arnett.
Second.
Well, yeah, second, exactly.
I see what you're saying. With Oklahoma taking a massive step back, that's a good pull for Ole Miss. Venables, fell on his face in year one. Usually you don't a lot of times kind of the scuttlebutt with fans, well, he'll figure it out. Usually they have it out of the gate. Now, every now and then a coach takes over, can't get it lined up early, and a year, two, whatever, down the line, it works. But usually if you're that bad coach effect early, that's who you are. So, Ed Orgeron was really who he was his first year, not his national championship year. Then he trended back into who he really was. Gene Chizik, had a average year his first year, then gets Cam Newton, Jason. They win it all, and then he trends back to what he really is. But those are special circumstances with one, LSU is a super recruiter in Joe Burrow, and Orgeron having two, amazing coordinators, as we all know, in Dave Aranda and Joe Brady. And then Gus Malzahn had arguably the best quarterback ever over one season and a good defensive coordinator, and they won it. But usually you are who you are. Matt Luke, Joe Moorhead, Sylvester Croom, Ed Orgeron at Ole Miss. You just, if you kind of out of the gate, Sherrill proved he could coach at Mississippi State. Just to give you an example, MSU, Ole Miss, take it local. Out of the gate, Tommy Tuberville proved he could coach at Ole Miss. Right out of the gate, Dan Mullen proved he could coach at Mississippi State. And right out of the gate, Hugh Freeze proved that he could coach. Now, Kiffin and Leach, it's hard to measure because they drew COVID year and they drew all conference games. One won 4 games, one won 3 games. I mean, that's a weird, funky, you'll never have that, we hope, that type year again. So I think that's hard. Those two guys can coach. Leach is a Hall of Famer. He's going into the Texas Tech Hall of Fame. I don't know if you saw that announced yesterday, Jason, but Mike Leach, of course, he should have a floor in the Texas Tech Hall of Fame. Best coach they've ever had, and they haven't won since he left in 2009. I mean, that's not hard to figure out, right? That is very 1 + 1 = 2 stuff. Hey, a guy or a man or a woman was in a job or a coach for X amount of years, and they had success, and then they leave, and nobody can win after them. That's what's happened at Texas Tech. So Mike Leach is going into the Texas Tech Red Raiders for you, Jason. That's the Red Raiders Hall of Fame. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. The SEC Insider Hit this morning is brought to you by Juniker Jewelry Store, which is not even a mile from where I'm sitting doing this show. It is on North Highland Colony, standalone building, Juniker Jewelry Store. They just posted a picture of some really cool cufflinks. But if you are looking for an engagement ring and you want to be the rock star and the 5-star, and you want them to walk you through the whole process and make you look like a hero, Juniker Jewelry Store in Madison, Highland Colony. Now, they've got bracelets, rings, necklaces, beautiful, beautiful inventory and selection. But the go-to place for engagement rings is Juniker Jewelry Store, Highland Colony in Madison. Want to say good morning, welcome in. We're talking scheduling, and we've got, let's drop the Greg McElroy. So Greg McElroy, SEC Network analyst, maybe he's ESPN, but I can't remember. Part of the same family, right? So McElroy was talking about the scheduling last night on the SEC Network, and he likes them LSU Tigers schedule. This is Greg McElroy on the 2024 SEC football schedule.
I think LSU, however, does have a fairly manageable schedule. When you look at what they have, of course, you get Alabama at home. That's a tricky one, but we'll use the same metric that we just graded Georgia on. Their home schedule the opponents in 2022 combined to go just 30-21. That includes Alabama, who was 9 games over 500 by themselves. So you combine Oklahoma, Ole Miss, and Vanderbilt. Those 3 teams went 500 overall. And then you think about the road trips. Just a game over 500, just 26-25 for those teams that they'll be traveling to in 2024. So, granted, like I said, a couple years from now, but based on where the programs are at right now, if we're taking a snapshot of college football today in the middle of June in 2023, LSU has a relatively negotiable path to what could be the inaugural divisionless SEC championship.
No divisions. No divisions for the first time since 1992 in 2024. So the top 2 teams will go to Atlanta if it's Georgia, Bama, or it could be like Bama, LSU. We're used to them being in the same division where they couldn't play each other in Atlanta. However, in 2024, if they finish 1 and 2, what happens? They'll play in Atlanta in the SEC championship game. Or if for some reason, like Tennessee comes out of nowhere, which I would find hard to believe, but let's just say they do, okay? And let's say Georgia has a great year. Georgia and Tennessee could play in the SEC championship game if they finish 1 and 2. Isn't that wild? Now, if Florida ever turns it around, then Florida, Georgia in the SEC championship game. But I think we have a better shot, as we know, of Bama and Auburn, or Bama and LSU as far as old West teams. They'll be considered what was Western Division teams. Now with no divisions, I would put my money on a Bama LSU SEC championship game or Bama Auburn now that Hugh Freeze is there over Georgia, Florida, or Georgia, Tennessee. Now, and I know Tennessee is trending in the right direction, and I expect Heupel to do a good job there. I don't know if it's within their reach to, come close to winning a national title, but Tennessee should win 8 games, 9 games, and every now and then maybe. Well, I don't know. They're going to trend the other way coming out of the East, and now we just put everybody together. But either way, I think they can hang in there in that 7 to 10 win window every year. I think Oklahoma, who is used to winning about 11 games a year since 2000, and Bob Stoops, think Oklahoma will be a 6-6 program in the SEC. They'll have to fight and claw like the Dogs, Rebs, Razorbacks, and Gamecocks. That's kind of in that. I don't even know if they'll be as good as Mississippi State and Ole Miss. I wouldn't be surprised if they are not. And if they don't land on a good coach, then it will be an uphill battle. And look, the Texas Longhorns have been MIA for over a decade too. And they haven't had a year. Well, they haven't been to the college football playoff. Is that good enough to say? I mean, think about that. The Texas Longhorns haven't been to the college football playoff yet. Oklahoma has. But granted, Oklahoma had Bob Stoops and Lincoln Riley. Texas has been a revolving door. Since whatever happened with Mac Brown and he lost his fastball, they've just been a revolving door over there in Texas with Charlie Strong, Tom Herman, and now Steve Sarkisian. And although Steve Sarkisian, makes headlines in recruiting, he has yet to make hay on the field. I look for, it could be Nebraska-esque for Oklahoma as far as moving to the SEC. What are your thoughts? Ag Up Equipment text line, 601-885-3776. 601-885-3776. Also, I was looking at this morning from some of our show prep. The most satisfying food sound. Want to take a guess?
I'm going to say.
Or did you look at it?
I'm gonna say something on the grill. I'm gonna say like you throw like burgers on the grill, or something like that. I'm gonna say something on the grill, like
Okay.
something hitting charcoal.
Okay, well,
is what I'm
that,
gonna say.
that would be a good spot to be in. But I thought they made a great point with this. This is what got voted number 1. And again, this is all random sampling, but it's fun. So most satisfying food sound is sizzling bacon.
Ooh, hard to argue.
I know. And it
Hard to argue.
smells so damn good.
It does. It really. And imagine like it's a Saturday morning,
Yeah.
and you're not the one cooking it, and you wake up to that smell,
Which is even better.
even better.
Yeah. Especially if it's crispy and it's dry. This is something you'll need to know on this show. Soggy bacon is terrible. Okay. And super greasy bacon / soggy bacon is terrible. So, and we set this all up years ago. So we will indoctrinate you ASAP. But yeah, man, on a Saturday morning when you know that you're going to have a Tito's Vodka Bloody Mary, mid to late morning, and you hear the bacon sizzling, and maybe there's going to be something else paired with it. Okay, whatever that is. Sunny side up eggs, which I love eggs regardless of whatever way they're cooked. Scrambled, sunny, it doesn't matter.
Right.
But I thought that was pretty good. A lot of times this show, like yesterday's Father's Day gift, number 1 was going out to eat. I still think if you polled guys coast to coast, they'd say bedroom time 1, bourbon 2. And bourbon wasn't even on the list, right?
Or a nice cigar. Cigars weren't on the list.
Yeah, that's such I mean, look, I love having Havana Smoke Shop on the show. It's so much fun for me. They're wonderful people. They're fun to work with. It's what I love. I enjoy having a cigar. Haven't had one this week, but I enjoy having a cigar. And then I love having Spring Street cigars on the show. But, that's single digits as far as percentage of people, who partake. Although it's a growing, it's the camaraderie, the conversation. I mean, that's why I love it. I mean, I went up to Starkville 2 weeks ago, ended up in the members lounge with these 2 guys. And we ended up figuring out that we're going to, do something together. And I just got lucky. But to not have bedroom time, bourbon. Oh, there was another one, Jason, that you and I were thinking. They did have craft beer. They did have tickets to a sports game. I did agree, a wonderful meal. I mean, look, ambiance, all that, food, conversation around. That's why we love dining out. I mean, there's something about sitting in a restaurant with people around you that you don't know, but they're also having a good time. And they're excited about the menu, and it's the taste buds, and maybe something that you're going to sip on, whether it's Long Branch bourbon or a Stella Artois or a wonderful glass of Syrah, whatever it is. And the different, I guess, stages and phases that comes with the meal, right? I mean, you get your drinks, then the conversation goes into an appetizer, entrees, even all the way down to desserts, maybe a bottle of wine. But I did not think that they nailed the Father's Day gift, but I thought they nailed this. With the sizzling bacon, so most satisfying food sound is sizzling bacon. Now, I agree with you. You throw something on the grill, you start to hear some things happen. That's a beautiful thing, too. And cast iron skillet, of course, you can do bacon in a cast iron. You can do so many different things. Is another way to get kind of popping and hopping, for sure. What else were we talking about?
Well, I had a question. I know this is probably a small sample size for both of us, but do you think turkey bacon sizzles the same way?
No.
No?
No. And Wendy went on a turkey bacon kick, and I tried to go there, and I couldn't. Now, I'll eat it, okay? But I want real bacon. I want real bacon, and I want a Bloody Mary with pickled okra and the right green beans and, a couple of olives And then if you've got the right bacon, you put the bacon in your Tito's Vodka Bloody Mary.
Yeah, you do.
And that's how you start a Saturday.
Or that bacon from Surfing Deer where it comes with the rosemary smoking underneath.
I know.
It's like half an inch away from pork belly. I mean, that's some good stuff too.
It is. That's a great point. So several years ago when we hit Surfing Deer for the first, well, first of all, there's usually very attractive people in there. Okay. So again, the decor and the ambiance and the setting is wonderful. There's something about being at the beach. Having a fun day outside, whatever you're doing, beach, pool, doing a little working out all around those areas, right? Going home, showering, and then you walk in Surfing Deer, you got the AC going, and you get like a Patron Añejo on the rocks with an orange or a Tito's Vodka Martini straight up with some blue cheese olives. And there's something about that 5:36 thing at the beach after being outside in some good vitamin D all day, and you got the good sand on you, and then you transition into a wonderful restaurant. And like you said, that bacon appetizer you nailed it. I had not thought about that. I had not framed it up like that. It is a whisker away from pork belly, and that it's got like a little wooden canoe under it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to describe it. And those black-eyed peas on the bottom are amazing. You pair that with some Patron Añejo or a good bourbon, because it's got that smoky thing going on the bottom along with and I love how they clip the bacon on the little, what am I trying to say?
Like,
shoestring?
Yeah, it's like drying your clothes out. They have It's got like
I don't think I've ever done that, but it is.
Clothesline clips on there. And
I'm sure my parents did back in the day.
yeah, well, I mean, now that we have conventional dryers, I don't think we need that. Now, somebody on the text
Dude,
line.
Wendy's gone, and I washed clothes yesterday.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was a big deal for me.
Good for you.
Yeah, I was excited
you.
about it. Wilkes came through, and he's leaving again for a week. And so I had to get all my Adidas boxers ready, plus some other stuff, T-shirts and so on. And then I had to make sure that he's one of the orders. Well, Wendy doesn't do that. She's not wired like that. But one of the things that she told me I need to do was to make sure that he went back out of town with clean clothes. So he's going to be good to go. We're live in the Bank Plus studio, Out of Bounds, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. We're going to have Dave Bartu. He's all fired up about this 2024 SEC football schedule. And he's a little negative. So I'm hoping he'll have had a cup of coffee by the time he comes on at 9:30. I think Carrie with Edwin Watts Golf Shops wants to stop by at 9 or 9:15. I got to do another giveaway. Oh, and you know what else I got to know, Jason? I need to know from our listeners, what is your favorite food truck in the Jackson metro area? Obviously, we talked about Burgers, Blues, and Barbecue a couple of weeks ago. They do an amazing job. But I need more recommendations. What is your favorite food truck or trucks in the Jackson metro area? Our Ag Up Equipment text line is 601-885-3776 for your farm, hunting camp, family land. John Deere, America's Tractor. You can find one at any of the Ag Up Equipment dealerships in Mississippi. Back in a second.